Welcome back, JCW fans. I am Kendo, and this is Lunacy Recaps and Reviews. In this episode, I will be going over Lunacy number 68, which aired January 29th, 2026. This episode featured Joe Dombrowski and Veda Scott on commentary. The ring announcer for this episode was Mark Roberts. With all that being said, let's go ahead and dive right into this thing. Alright, this episode opens up with Mark Roberts in the ring, and he is going to be introducing the protector of the investment, Big Vito, with the investor, Vince Russo. Vito comes in and cuts a quick promo, basically telling the Juggalos they need to wipe the face paint off and that there will be no more Faygo juice at any of these events. Again, just Vito being a heel, talking shit to the Juggalos. Vince Russo introduces the new World Heavyweight title. He says that Triple H purged the JCW Heavyweight Champion, and because of this, there will be a match next week's episode. Cowboy James Storm taking on Mr. Anderson, and the winner will be the new JCW World Heavyweight Champion. Vince Russo then goes on to talk about last week with Vampiro and Madman Pondo trying to run over Mosh Pit Mike. He says that Vampiro did not fire Madman Pondo, so he went ahead and just fired both of them. He then goes on to say that he is going to be the temporary showrunner. I'm guessing until he appoints somebody new. He then tells Vito that, all the drama with Cocaine, Stephen Flo, and the Outbreak are over with, and that it's time to get down to business. Jasmine St. Clair and the Monster Corp come out, and she says, "You're right, it is time to get down to business. Big Vito, you are owed a receipt from last week when you turned on us and DDT'd Congo Kong." She goes on to say that Vito was very broke, also very little in the nether regions. She goes on to basically try to humiliate Vito in any way she can. She asks Vince Russo if Russo can make a match between Congo Kong and Big Vito. Vito goes and grabs the mic and retaliates and basically says that Herd Nedden is so huge that anyone would look small compared to that thing. He goes on to say that Russo will not be making a match tonight, but he will. And the match with Congo Kong will be a Sicilian street fight. Basically after he says that, Congo Kong gets a little worked up. They try to start the match right there. Vince Russo shuts that down quick as shit. He ends up kicking Jasmine and the Monster Corp back to the locker rooms. He goes on to tell Big Vito that basically he brought Big Vito in to protect him, and it just seems like Vito's kind of going into business for himself, doing whatever. He's doing nothing but giving Russo a headache. Russo then threatens Vito almost. Vito gets a little upset. Shout outs to Russo though, because he didn't lose his cool, nor did he back down. Vito did back down very quick once he realized Russo is the reason he's here. Vince Russo gets pissed off. He takes the new title and heads back to the locker room, leaving Big Vito in the ring. And then this happens throughout the night. Every time we see Big Vito, we see Violent J's face paint, and the music playing over the PA system is Violent J's intro music, Chicken Hunting. We jump right into the first match, and this is Facade, and he will be taking on Ninja Mac. This is the third match out of the 2 out of 3 series. Both opponents here each have a win. Like the last 2 matches, this one just kind of goes back and forth, showing how evenly well these two are. A lot of high flying moves, again, just like the last 2 matches. What I did like about this match, and we will see here shortly, you can tell that these two have been fighting each other for a couple weeks now because they got each other pretty well scouted. They each go to do almost signature moves, I guess you would say, and missing. Ninja Mac does a good job of wearing down Facade with a couple sleeper holds here. Right there, he went for the mule kick, but Ninja Mac knew what was going on. Well scouted there. Nice little inverted dragon sleeper. Here's one of Ninja Mac's signature moves again, misses. Facade knew it was coming. Nice little tribute to the late great Sabu. This one was another one that Facade won with last week, but Ninja Mac knew it was coming. Ninja Mac goes for the Ninja Bomb, but Facade knew it was coming. Tries to wear him down with a sleeper again, and this is where things get a little bit questionable, if you ask me. Facade rolls over for the 1-2-3. Easily had the 1 count, but chose to put his feet up on the rope to cheat to get the 2 or 3. Here is your winner and new JCW American Heavyweight Champion is Facade. Questionable again. I don't know if he's going to turn heel or not. I guess we'll see what happens there. But congratulations either way, man. You deserve it. We then cut backstage to Hollywood Haley J, and she's complaining to Vince Russo about the bullshit that Big Al's been throwing around her weight and abusing power, and now she has to deal with a gauntlet match for the title tonight. She ends up getting kicked out of the dressing room, and Danny Moe and Vince Russo end up coming to an agreement where they're going to help each other out, where she's going to calm down Haley J, and he's going to possibly take powers from Big Al. Next, we get another backstage segment, Brothers of Fun Destruction with Big Vito. Big Vito's basically asking he needs another favor, and Raffo tells him, look, you're out of favors, we'll help you out, but you're gonna have to pay us, basically. We want a little bit of money. Things start to get a little intense, words get, back and forth. Yabo ends up saying something to Big Vito, and again, it kind of triggers some memories for Vito. They leave the locker room, leaving Vito alone. Vito finds their fanny pack, which inside the fanny pack had their 2 wallets with the Italian flag. Again, we see the Violent J face paint with Chicken Hutton playing in the background. More mind games for Vito. Okay, the next match is the debut of the French-Canadian Frankenstein PCO. And PCO will be taking on Suicide. It's funny because hopping into the ring with this guy is pretty much Suicide. So it's pretty appropriate that he's facing Suicide. This is basically just going to be a squash match. PCO pretty much dominates the entire time. Big old hammer fist there. I do believe that Suicide tries to mount a little bit of offense every now and then, but PCO quickly shuts that shit down. The match doesn't really last very long. Big time headbutt there. Who knows if that mask is loaded or not. Yeah, again, Suicide with a little bit of offense, but PCO quick to shut that shit down. Big time choke slam here. I think it's about to end. Yeah, this is very impressive for a big man. Shooting star press. Ref counts to 1, 2, 3. And in his debut, here is your winner, PCO. Okay, next is a short segment on stage, and it's Big Vito roughing up DJ Clay because he feels DJ Clay is the one that keeps playing the Chicken Hut music. Slaps him around a little bit. Clay's like, hey man, I ain't playing it. It ain't me. Leading into the next match is Mr. Anderson. And Mr. Anderson's basically going to come out and cut a quick little promo about how he wants to do the title match tonight. But because Cowboy James Storm is off filming a movie, he can't do the match tonight. He goes on to ask Vince Russo, since they are in Denver and he works out of Denver, if Russo can send out one of those rough, tough, unbeatable mountain men, as he called them. I guess Russo had an opponent on deck because quickly came out. The Mountain Devil, they were calling him. Hunter Gray, the Mountain Devil. Kind of a wild character, if you will. This actually, though, was a pretty decent match. A lot of hard-hitting maneuvers, you know, nice little shoulder blocks there from Hunter, and cross-body block from the corner. JYD-style headbutt. It does go back and forth. Obviously, Mr. Anderson's going to get some offense in, too. I'm kind of confused why Mr. Anderson would even want to take this match. Having a World Heavyweight Championship opportunity in a week, you would think you want to get some rest. But he doesn't. He wants to stay sharp, I guess, and keep that momentum going, because you know in wrestling, momentum is everything. Hunter Gray tries to kind of hulk up there. He does it a few times throughout the match. Anderson going for the 3, only gets the 2. It's funny because here in a second, I think we see Hunter Gray. He does the whole Ultimate Warrior thing too. So he's, you know, he's got a little bunch of different things going on to try to get himself energized or hyped up, if you will. Here we go, right there. Ultimate Warrior. Rope shake, but nope, into the corner, and he says, hey, Mr. Anderson, that don't affect me at all, and he just pounds his own head into the corner, which in the long run is probably not good because it is taking damage any way you look at it. Delivers a nice atomic drop right here, goes for a neck breaker, it looked like. No, a big time clothesline there, goes for a nice kick. Mr. Anderson with a rolling senton. I do believe this one's about to wrap up. Yep, goes off the top. Nope. Gets caught up in the mic check. Mr. Anderson covers him up for the 1, 2, 3. And here is your winner going into next week, Mr. Anderson. We'll see what happens in that title shot next week. All right, jumping right into the next match is Hollywood Haley J. And this is going to be a gauntlet match for the JCW Women's title. Her first opponent is going to be Danny Moe. This one gets started pretty quick. Nice little back and forth. It doesn't last very long, though. Danny Moe with a nice little arm drag from the middle there. I think she goes for a big time kick next. Oh, yeah, right off the top. And this is where, yeah, so she kind of misses with the dive from the top. Haley J rolls her up for the 1, 2, 3 and advances to the next opponent, who the next opponent is JCW Hall of Famer Mickey Knuckles. And if you know anything about Mickey Knuckles, she is a tough bitch. Haley J tries to mount some offense, but Mickey Knuckles is going to quickly shut that shit down. What's going to happen next is a whole lot of damage. Mickey Knuckles just pretty much dominates Hollywood. Just ragdolls the champ, throws her around. It looks kind of like Hollywood might lose the title here. Referee goes for the 3, but Haley J gets her feet up on the rope. Mickey Knuckles don't want to break the hold here because she's in the rope. The ref's like, hey man, you got to break for the 5. If not, you know what happens. And then she does it again. Referee's like, hey, I've already warned you once. Mickey Knuckles gets DQ'd. But the damage has already been done to Hollywood. She took a pretty bad beating from Mickey Knuckles. Big Al comes out, and because she's still the showrunner, she makes a new stipulation. And now she only has to pin Haley J and get a 2 count, and oppose Haley J when she pins her, she has to get a 4 count. She does try to go after her right away, but again, she's pretty beat up from Mickey Knuckles. Big Al takes advantage right away, goes for a pin, only gets a 1, thank God, because if it would have been a 2, we would have had a new champ. Hollywood gets a 3, but does not get the win because of the new stipulation. It had to be a 4 count. This one's gonna end fairly quick too. Big Al takes advantage and she just kind of whoops Hollywood's ass again. Haley J just got beat down by Mickey Knuckles. The Amazing Maria, who is Hollywood's mother, comes in and she's pretty much like, hey, I'm not going to let my daughter get screwed over like this. And she comes and saves Hollywood. The match ends in a no contest and Hollywood still retains the title. Good job, champ. You got lucky on this one. We then get another backstage segment with the Brothers of Construction. Ruffo and the cameraman are talking about how they plan to give the Outbreak another title shot. Cameraman says, hey, you know, they've beaten you before. Aren't you worried about that? Ruffo says, that's why we're putting the titles on the line. We want to face the best. Meanwhile, Yabo's kind of freaking out because he realized that he can't find the wallets. The same wallets that were in the fanny pack. He asked Ruffo, hey, do you have them? Ruffo can't find them anywhere. All right, next we cut to a new segment, which is the Coach's Corner. This is Jonathan Coachman, and he basically spotlights a wrestler, I'm assuming, each week. This week is Willie Mack. He starts off by giving Willie Mack props on all his accolades, and then goes on to say that he needs to quit hanging out with Too Tough Tony because Tony is a hillbilly and a drunk, and he is just pulling Willie Mack down. Because last time we seen Willie Mack was in the crowd and he couldn't even get backstage. That's kind of disgraceful. Basically just saying Willie Mack needs to step his game back up because he should be doing a lot better and not hanging out with people like Tony. Tony's my boy, so I take those remarks kind of fucking mean, coach, but it is what it is. Okay, then we jump back into the ring for the next match. Match opens up with Jeeves, and he is back finally with Caleb Conley, accompanied by the Ring Rat. Caleb Conley will be taking on the Climax, Kerry Morton, and this actually is going to be a triple threat match, and their opponent will be none other than Cocaine, Juggalo favorite Cocaine. Now the stipulation in this match is it's actually a ladder match, and inside the briefcase hanging above the ring is a contract to become the #1 contender for the JCW World Heavyweight Champion, which we will have a new champion next week. Caleb Conley and Kerry Morton each bring ladders into the ring, trying to end this one early. Cocaine tries to deliver a double coke slam, probably not going to happen this early in the match. He ends up getting knocked off. Caleb Conley and Kerry Morton go back and forth trying to get up the ladder, get to the briefcase. They want to get that contract. Nice little spot with Cocaine jumping over Caleb Conley there. I think he ended up getting completely, big time double lariat. I forgot about that one. Yeah, this match had some really impressive spots too. I actually forgot about. They do some pretty cool stuff with the ladders. Kerry Morton whipping Caleb Conley into the ladder there. Nobody home. Kerry Morton gets a little piece of the ladder himself. Cocaine gets back in, does the old whirly bird. One for Kerry, one for Caleb. Now another one for Kerry Morton for getting up. And then Jeeves wants to hop up and he gets himself some. Oh, whirly bird for everybody. The Ring Rat tries to distract Cocaine. She gets up on the ring apron. She does end up getting inside the ring. Cocaine about to do some party favors off of the backside of the Ring Rat, but Caleb Conley Kerry Morton quickly shuts that down. Cocaine going for the Coke Slam. Hits that. Hip toss onto the ladder, leaving Caleb Conley. Oh, right into the old family jewels. And if you watch this episode, Kerry Morton screams so loud, it's hilarious. Kerry Morton and Cocaine up on the top. Kerry Morton takes advantage and slams Cocaine's head down a couple times, causing him to fall onto the other ladder. leaving him exposed for a big time splash from Caleb Conley. Cool little spot. Like I said, this match had some decent stuff. Caleb Conley goes in, or going up, trying to get to the briefcase. Jeeves ended up bumbling and stumbling, knocking him over. Gary Morton could have taken it, but he took a little time showboating, and just like the past couple weeks, the misfit Matt Cross comes in and just fucks up Gary Morton. Not too sure what the drama is there, but I guess we'll find out in future weeks. Cocaine takes advantage with everybody laid out, and he goes to the tippy top of the ladder, and he is your new #1 contender. Mark my words, 2026, year of cocaine. We then get a quick backstage segment with Mr. Happy playing with his bear. Big Vito comes and attacks him. We assume he's attacking Mr. Happy because he doesn't want Mr. Happy to get involved in the match with Congo Kong. Then jumps to another quick backstage with Kerry Morton running around looking for Matt Cross again. Hopefully he finds one last quick backstage, and it's Vince Russo with another secret meeting with whoever it is he's saying is Vince Russo's person. Again, I think it might be Big Vito, possibly Big Al. I guess we'll see in future weeks. Okay, next up is the main event featuring the protector of the investment, Big Vito. And Big Vito will be taking on from the St. Clair Monster Corporation, the Big Congo Kong. This match was pretty cool because the past couple matches we've seen with Big Vito, he's basically just been taking on Stephen Flo, and with all due respect to Stephen Flo, Big Vito was way more of a powerhouse and just kind of dominated. So at least with this match, he's kind of more equally matched with a powerhouse like Congo Kong. So they both do have some good moves going back and forth. Neither one truly really dominates. Like I said, they just kind of go back and forth. This is another one that ends quickly, but there are a few big time moves. Look, nice little side suplex there. Goes for the 2, or excuse me, goes for the 3. Only gets the 2. Some devastating chops by Congo Kong. Nice slaps to the corner. Big Vito retaliates back with a few of his own. They did kind of keep it in the corners a lot this match too. I'm not sure. Nobody home. Went for a big splash, but Vito with the ring smarts to get out of there pretty quick. Mr. Happy does come out and he gets some revenge. Then out of nowhere, the newcomer PCO, he comes out and he proceeds to beat down Mr. Happy, and nobody thought this would happen, but big time chokeslam to Mr. Happy. Made the whole ring shake with that one. Now in all the confusion, Big Vito delivers another DDT. The ref kind of reluctant to count to 3, but it is a Sicilian street fight, so no DQ. 1, 2, 3. And here is your winner, Big Vito. We then go on to see that Big Vito ends up paying PCO, so that's why PCO came out to help, which is kind of confusing because he wasn't willing to help, or excuse me, he wasn't willing to pay the Brothers of Funstruction, but he paid PCO. We then see more clown paint flashing on the ring, and Chicken Hunting playing over the system. Violent J playing heavy mind games with Big Vito, and it seems to be working because Vito is very distraught. This is pretty much how the episode ends. All right, a few quick thoughts on the show itself. I did like that this episode, the backstage segments that they did have were a lot shorter. Like I said in last week's episode, it seemed a bit overwhelming with all the backstage segments and them lasting so long. This week they did seemed like a little bit less of them, and they were shorter, a lot more action in the ring. One thing I didn't like is a couple of the matches just seemed a little bit short. The final match for the United States Juggalo title seemed like it could have went a little bit longer. I also didn't like that the road that Facade took to win that match. Maybe that was just because they were so evenly matched and they had each other very well scouted. Maybe Facade just took that shortcut because he thought that was the only choice. hopefully he doesn't turn heel. Another thing, just like last week, I feel like we're getting a lot of segments with Big Vito. I do like Big Vito. He's one of my favorite heels, but it just seems like a lot. One thing I would have done is I would have taken the main event and I would have put that before the ladder match, and I would have put the ladder match as a main event. I just feel like there was a lot more excitement in the ladder match, and it just was all around a better match. Overall, I think the show was very well. If I had to rate it, I would give it an 8 out of 10. Yeah, I really don't have too much bad complaints. Just like last week, I'd like to shout out to Jeff the Ref. Hopefully he's doing okay. Again, we haven't heard from him in a while. Hopefully we see Violent J back soon to deal with the Big Vito problem. Let me know what you guys thought about this week's episode of Lunacy in the comments. What was your guys' favorite matches? What did you think was great? What did you think that they possibly could have done better? Maybe they didn't need to do anything, and it was just fine the way it was. Just let me know in the comments. If you could, please share, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. It definitely helps me out. You know, if you enjoy the shows, it would help it grow even more. I do apologize for getting this one out a little bit later. Between doing the watch party that also will be uploaded, I did forget to mention that we did a watch party with my wife and my buddy Ed Smash. That's going to be uploaded as well. So between doing that, watching the Royal Rumble, having to work and deal with my son, things just got a little bit hectic over the weekend. So this one came out a little bit late. Next week won't be as bad because it'll be a little bit less shit going on. So again, please subscribe and like and share. Until next week, peace and whoop whoop.